What is going on, guys? It's Dan from the Sanctum squad, and we are back here with Jack Wings, the Sanctum Squire himself. So, what have you been up to since we last saw you?
Well, I've finalised and kept heavily working on the Adamantipator decks. It's been incredibly fun. It's a nice swarm deck that plays like Blackwing, so it's a good step in a more competitive direction. So I'm taking what I knew and making myself stronger as a player, making my deck stronger to work with in the meta. And even though Adamanticators have had their highs and their lows, it's still a really fun deck. I'm doing a lot better with it versus the Blackwings or the TGs, anything I could have played so far. It's a really fun deck, and I've made sure that I'm not hindered by whether I lose or win the dice roll. I can play this deck first or second. The idea of just being able to manipulate the deck into what I want it to be as well is definitely the high point of this as well. And I think that's my favourite part about it, actually, just knowing either what I can spec to the field or what I'm going to draw into next is very useful and very helpful in a lot of situations. So if I can either go for quick synchros, go for overlays, bring things out for links, and I think the deck's just flowing really well. I think with very few additions, I think I can make it the strongest it can be.
So you took the Adamantipator to Winning Box tournament, which we held at the store for a Winning Box of Parity Elements. Being as that was probably your first big tournament, how did the whole experience feel for you?
Unfortunately, I wasn't very well that day, so I was a bit hazy, but it was a lot of fun to take things on an even more competitive scale versus what it would be at locals usually. Seeing a lot of people run Sprite as well and how that deck does come up against Sprite. And I'm having a lot, it was definitely a lot of fun. It didn't do as well as I anticipated or hoped, but you can't always win, and it's just even more of a driving force for why I should continue working on my deck and heavily keep pushing for it to be the best it can be.
So is this what you're going to be taking to our next winner box for Tactical Masters, which is going to be on the weekend of release? So come down if you're free.
I should be, but there might be something else in the works.
Interesting. So don't say too much, Jack. We'll catch up with you a little bit later to get a report of your levels for the day.
Of course. Welcome to the Sanctum Squire's official deck as of right now. I'm going to explain what I like and dislike about this deck and what I think's working well and what I don't. So let's start off with the elephant in the room, as they say. Why the hell would I be running a Junk Synchron and 2 Doppel Warriors in Adamantipator of all things? Well,
I'll answer that. Jack's been speaking to Jake in it, and Jake's been showing him all wacky decks.
No, this was my own combo.
Is it?
My own combo I came up with myself.
Talk him through it, Jack. Talk him through it.
So, let me tell you why this is wacky. As you'll see somewhere along the bottom row, you will see Junk Warrior. I once borrowed a Baron de Fleur for my level 10, but I don't have that anymore. So I needed a card to slot in the extra deck, and I chose Junk Warrior. Because of the ability I can run, there's the tuning. I do have one sided, but it's just in case if I go into it. So ideally, Doppel Warrior is great in most decks you synchro with, purely based on the fact you get tokens back from it, and it can spec itself from the hand if a monster's special summon from the grave, and that's what the 3 copies of Adamantipator signs do. It's basically Rock Monster Reborn, then you can place an Adamantipator to the top of the deck. It's a great card. But anyway, Hulk. Where is Hulk Firebrax? Hulk is great. So we can basically, we want to set this up so we can special summon a card, it doesn't matter what, from the grave to get Doppel Warrior back onto the field. We then will take Hulk and spec Junk Synchron as our tuner. We then take Junk Synchron and the Doppel Warrior into the Synchro, bring out Junk Warrior and then the 2 tuners. From that, the opponent's next turn. With everything going to my plan, Hulk will banish itself and then out appears Tech Genus Wonder Magician. Wonder Magician effect activates, pop a card. Hopefully, if everything's set up correctly, the Scythe to Scythe-lock the opponent on their turn. And then it's the Excel Synchro part. So you take Junk Warrior, and then my Tech Genius Wonder Magician. If I had it, it would be Baron de Fleur, but that is where Satellite Warrior comes in. With 2 synchros in the grave, that's 2 pops on my opponent's turn, and then 1,000 attack for each synchro in the grave. So that would be, just on that alone, an extra 2,000 attack, which would take it up to a combined total of 4,500. But I could have multiple of these in the grave and even further boost my attack. This is one of my strongest just attack point based monsters, and that's why there's a Junk Synchron, Doppel Warriors, and Junk Warrior in my deck.
So if budget wasn't an option, what sort of changes would you make to this?
Baron de Fleur, definitely. I borrowed Jake's for the winner box, it was amazing. Baron de Fleur would be nice. Trying to think. 2 more of these bad boys, you know? Yeah, run all 3 of those.
Would you play some more rocks? Like maybe, just to make mills a bit more?
Yeah, I'm doing okay for the excavates, to be fair. These here are a choice I added today. When this card's in the graveyard, I can then add a rock back to my hand, so it's a great combo extender if I haven't already used the effects of the Adamant's Petunas to get themselves out. Or if it was one I sent there last round, could have been from Hulk or a Synchro Summon. But in terms of cost, I would definitely get the free ashes until they get reprinted, you know. Even a common ash is still expensive, but all round, I'm enjoying this deck. I think it's very fun, and I can't wait to see where else I go with it. So, I think my plans are just to, for now, continue finalising and building this more effectively. But for the new deck I have in mind, let's just say Jake took part of its engine to Nationals. But what I'm looking forward to most, in about 3 months' time I like to guess, is when Darkwing Blast arrives, and I will be profiling the Black Wings, and it will be, you'll get to see the Jack Wings rise to power.
Be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on, so if you're looking for that. Alright, in a bit.